I definitely like that one more because I can lean back more, but this one's gonna work better.
Where's my bang?
Oh, your bang's in here. I got you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all right. We're gonna fix drinks.
I need it now.
You need it now?
I need that can of whoop ass running through my veins.
All right. Let's get it going then. All right. I got this for the bugs. Yeah. He's thirsty, he said, guys. Oh. All right. And now this one was dropped, so I definitely would start with that one. Yeah, definitely would start with that one.
Do a little advertisement for Bang.
Yeah.
It's what, 300 milligrams? Huh? Yeah.
300 fucking
We're
milligrams.
gonna plug them in real quick.
Yeah. No, it's that stuff I was telling you about.
This is
something, the 40,000 volts. This is something I'll plug, and it's something that I'm gonna review on my page too. Oh, I got ice, buddy. You want ice?
Huh?
You want ice?
No, I'm all right.
Ice. Oh, okay.
I'm good.
I'm gonna get some ice from my clothes. So
she's ice cold. Yeah, I drink them piss hot.
I don't like a lot of ice, but I like a little bit when I'm drinking out of a glass.
Yeah, and a nice glass.
It's just a ball. It's a ball jar style drinking glass. I found them yesterday.
If you ever get too hyped up on Bang, just do a little cocaine and it'll bring you down.
Yeah, exactly. Keep you leveled out.
That's right.
It down to earth.
Pinky's out.
Remember that. I got some Mountain Dew in there too. You just can't drink it all because it's for old Mama T.
Nah, I don't need none of that soda. It's bad for you.
Yeah, you don't. Oh yeah, that's right. You don't drink the poison. You don't drink the poison. Oh, that's good stuff. All right. So we're rolling now. I don't know what the name of the podcast is, and that's something I did want to talk to you about a little bit.
Don't touch it. Back that way.
No. You got to go that way.
Back that way. Yeah, that's cool, but you gotta go back in there. Sweet boy, because we're recording.
We're filming. You messing with our movie. We're filming a movie. You messing it up.
I'll get you in later on.
Yeah.
Go on there with me. I love you. I love you.
So I want to discuss the name for the podcast. So I got a few on Grok here. I talked to Grok about it.
All right.
And let's see if I can find that thread. The one that it came up with that I think I like is what was it? Drake's Meat and Meat. Because you meet and
meat.
Meat and meat. I was like, I don't know. That's a little get. No, I'm just kidding. Let me see. Meat tasting interview podcast. All right, let's see the names. Gives you all kinds of stuff. Drake's Wild Meat Diaries, Carpenter's Carnivore Carve, Drake's Carnivore Feast.
I like carnivorous carpenters.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it doesn't.
I don't want it to tie just to carpenters.
Just carpenters,
but
yeah.
I could do.
Just put carnivore's cut, because you got director's cut.
Yeah.
Carnivore's cut would be.
And that works
as good.
Because carpenter's, I like carpenter's cut, but I think it's too much leaning on the construction. So
yeah.
I like carnivore's cut too. That's pretty good. Yeah. Or carnivore's corner or carnivore cast. I thought about carnivore cast.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good too.
Yeah. Carnivore cast would be cool. But I also wanted to.
Yeah, and then when you do your OnlyFans, it can be Carnivore's casting couch.
Oh, that's
triple
great.
C's.
Yeah, that's good. You got the alliteration there.
There's some onomatopoeias in there.
Yeah, I can't wait to get my OnlyFans going.
Shout out
my
to
OnlyPans.
Miss Cote's Hot Words.
Oh yeah. I should have thrown it back, huh?
A woman hated me. I was in 9th grade, and she come to tell us about our summer reading and stuff.
Yeah.
Because she was in that whole early honors college thing. She come in there to show us the books. I think I chose either Lord of the Flies or Of Mice and Men. Mm-hmm. And she says, I'm sitting at the back of the class, and I whisper, but I don't really whisper all that good. I was like, damn, but she got a witch's nose. And about that time, she just locked eyes with me. And yeah.
Wasn't that the principal?
No. That was the English 1 teacher. But she she was very strict. She was probably one of the hardest classes I took throughout the whole honors college thing. She was harder than the college classes.
That's pretty tough. I don't think I met her because she was after. I remember you dealing with it though.
Yeah, she didn't play no shit.
Yeah, no. I remember you had issues with her. That's funny.
Yeah, but that was the whole thing. Said she had a witch's nose, and I wish I could go back now, because like I was a little asshole. You know what I mean? There's no reason for me to say that. And I was just trying to be funny, and it really made my life
Just
hard.
trying to get a giggle, right?
Yeah. Yep. Well, you should have seen all them red marks on that first essay I turned in. I think I made like, oh yeah, dude, I had like a 17 for the paper.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Now you get 2 revisions, but that first one was a 17, and I was like, oh my God.
That's terrible,
dude. Wrong.
And you actually put some effort into it, or did you half-ass?
Half-assed everything. That was the problem. Still did better than most, but I really should have put more effort into it.
I look back at everything like that. Everything I did, I'm like, damn, man, I could have done a little bit harder. I could have done a little bit, like, regretfully. You look back and
hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah. You look back and you wish you could have done a little bit harder sometimes.
Well, especially when you're younger, because you don't realize how much it's going to affect, you know, the ripple effect. That
right. What it's going to do to you later on.
It's
like
tough.
you said, that hindsight's 20/20. You see it after it happens.
Yeah, at the same time, there's a lot of people that don't learn that lesson until they're in their 30s and 40s. So, I mean, I guess it's
or
good.
Never learn it.
Yeah, amen.
They never learn it. I got some buddies that, don't get me wrong, they might be a little upset, but they still work at the McDonald's. That was my first job, you know, and they worked there for 10 years before I got there. Yeah. So, I guess.
Sounds like you're reflecting on how the choices we make early on can have a big impact later.
Oh, wow.
Be careful.
I didn't know I was talking to Grok.
Yeah. Grok's always listening.
Yeah,
that's why I said you be careful. And the AI overlords take over. I ain't going to forget shit.
Say thank you.
I tell Siri thank you every time.
We uncovering the lawnmower.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That orange stallion.
Yeah.
Well, that little thing.
That thing's cut a lot of grass.
Yeah. Bro. Yeah, it cut a lot of stuff it wasn't supposed to. It cut down many trees with it.
No worries. Sounds like you're out there
see what's going on
with that orange stallion of a mower. I love.
That's crazy.
I ain't lying.
I locked my phone.
She's still listening. Yeah. She don't care.
No, it said on my lock screen, Grok is listening.
She can't lock her out.
That's crazy.
No, I got that from
easy, girl.
I pressure washed Bill's RV or camper.
Yeah.
When I pressure washed it with your pressure washer, matter of fact.
My parents' camper.
And but he gave me that. It was sitting up under some solar panels for, I think he said like 2 years, and they bought a John Deere.
That's right.
And I think I spent like $600-700 up there at the Husqvarna shop and get it back. He brought it back from the dead, is what they did.
Yeah.
But hell, I cut down trees this damn tall with it. And how the weeds get real bad. I mean, I was just playing around. I was like, I wonder how tall I could really cut it. I mean, I had that thing sit back like that. We was running over stuff. And it stopped.
When did you do that? Or right after you got it running?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that was all.
She's good. Husqvarna makes a good mower, man.
Damn right. Dude, I think.
It ain't got shit on that Kawasaki though. That big one, that 60 inch that I had.
Yeah, that thing was a monster. This one's just it's really comfortable. Mm-hmm. It's really comfortable to get up in the tight spots and everything. That other big one was just monstrous and heavy to haul.
Yeah, but you could hear the damn truck struggle whenever we damn did it.
Yeah.
Sorry to get off on that tangent.
No, you're good. I was actually thinking I should probably go ahead and pull out the meat, start cooking. Yeah, the top of that
pull your meat out for everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull my meat out for the pod.
Great segue.
Today we have tenderloin. No. So I'm gonna go ahead. We got the cooler here. All right. So these are the steaks that we are gonna eat. These are grass-fed and grass-finished beef. Ribeye steaks. Now they're not the thickest. I got these from Trader Joe's, and I mean, dude, the marbling in them is really nice. They're super. If you notice, they're really, really dark.
Yeah.
That dark color is what color our meat's supposed to be, man. This is a grass-fed and grass-finished steak.
So it's not supposed to be that bright red like you see in the other stores.
It's not supposed to be that bright red color. This and you'll tell when you taste it. You'll be like, damn, this is so different. I can't wait to taste the grass-fed and grass-finished. Like I said, I had a grass-finished steak last night for the first time, and I was amazed at the flavor that was in it. It almost had like this background hint. Like after you get past the flavoring of the seasoning and everything in the taste, you can almost taste this little note of like what was eaten. You know, and it tastes like grass, just like the smell of grass a little bit. I was
man, ain't nothing like that smell of freshly cut grass.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, as we're talking about it, but No, man, I'm super excited about how this one's gonna taste. Definitely don't need to mess these ones up. They're already seasoned. They came vacuum sealed, or I seasoned them.
Right.
They came vacuum
Now,
sealed.
what'd you season them with?
Just salt, pepper, and garlic. That's all I season any of my stuff with now. I don't go too heavy on the pepper.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's fucking with me, but I can't 100% tell. So I'm gonna go ahead and preheat the grill and get
throw them
ready to
on
go
there.
ahead. Yeah. I just wanted to kind of go over them. All right, go hold them up to the camera for a second. I don't know how much you. Oh yeah, that does look good on camera.
It's the good stuff.
That's the good stuff right there. They're not super thick, but you know they'll cook up really good.
I'll tell you about the way I seasoned them New York strips not too long ago.
I want to say you did, but I can't recall. So you could definitely run it back.
Okay, so I was seasoning it, and I do like a salt, pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, and I had this, I think it's honey teriyaki, like some generic brand marinade. I poured it on there, and I got to tasting it and garlic salt, and I tasted it, and it was just way too salty. So damn, I need to water this down somehow, and I was like, well, shit.
Wait, I'm sorry. Start back. Would you start with the
So
seasoning?
garlic, salt, pepper, Worcestershire sauce, and a little bit of onion powder. Well, it was way too salty. Oh, and that honey teriyaki, it was like Food Line brand, honey teriyaki marinade.
Yeah.
But it was way too salty. Like I tasted it
itself
before
was?
it cooked all the way.
And then you put the
No, I
garlic
didn't
salt.
marinate. I usually I don't have enough forethought.
The marinade itself was salty.
No, when I mixed it all together in the pan, because I'll mix it together in the pan, throw the steak on there, and then I'll dip my finger in it and try it.
Yeah.
And kind of rub it on my teeth. But it's just way too salty. I was like, but it's gonna taste like ass. So I need to water it down somehow. And you know that raspberry blush balsamic vinegar that Daddy used to cook.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, I can't find it anywhere.
No,
the only
quit
place
selling
I
it.
can get it is Amazon, and it's like $16 for a little bottle. I'm like, dude, I like steak and I like that flavor, but I don't like it that much.
It's expensive. It used to be expensive in the store. You used to have to pay like $10, $12 for a bottle, but you got it in the store.
And then the shipping.
yeah,
So you end up damn $20, almost $30 for a bottle of marinade. I don't like it that much.
No.
But I took some what is it? It's no sugar added. It's like 100% juice, but it was cherry pomegranate, and I put that in there with it. Boy, you want to talk about your tongue trying to beat your brains out eating it?
Yeah.
It was real good. But it had that same kind of raspberry-ish, I don't know, it just made the meat sweet and spicy.
It gave it the fruity flavor. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I miss.
You
Reminds me of
know,
my childhood.
Thorne's been on that tart cherry juice or whatever.
Yeah, he said that's the best sleep he ever had in his life.
That's what he told me too.
I haven't tried it.
It made me think about. I was wondering if you could soak your meat in that.
Dang, might could.
I wonder how it would.
I don't see why not.
I'm probably not going to venture too much with marinades like that, just because they're all like fruit and vinegar based, and it just kind of ingrained. It's probably going to be problematic for me to mess with marinades.
Well, it's just you can't really find a whole lot that are zero sugar. You know what I mean? So that's no added sugar. And I will tell you, me and Thorne did like a month where we didn't do any added sugar whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Now, if it had sugar that was like natural, like fruits and stuff that, we could eat it like that, but no added sugar. And you can really tell a difference. You know what I mean? Like from the time that we started that month to the time that it ended, like, you know, when you eat something that's really carb heavy or something that's really sugar heavy, you get that kind of crash where your insulin spikes and you just get kind of tired. It really didn't affect me in that same way. Now, I mean, you still have some of that, but it wasn't nearly as bad. Yeah. I mean, I think it's just like we were discussing before, the processed sugar, the processed foods, cheeses, whatever. That's what really does it to you. Yeah. You know, when God don't miss. You know, and when he makes something, he makes it the way that it's supposed to be. It's good. But when we start messing with it and trying to, you know, make it more shelf stable and make it last longer, you know, it's all about profits for a lot of these places.
And that's the crazy part to me is like that's what it all boils down to at the end of the day is money, because there's plenty of room for local farmers and local. Like everything can be local. You should be able to go to your local food market, and like Walmart shouldn't be a market that comes in and brings in, like I said, Smithfield bacon that's not made in Smithfield. It's made here. It's made here. It's made here. And like instead of that farm having their name on the bacon, they got Smithfield's name on it
Right.
because it's a big monopoly, and this
Right.
one person is just sitting at the top making so much money. And ultimately, at the end of the day, you can't be mad at somebody for being successful and doing what they did.
Right.
So it's tough to say, like, well, they shouldn't be up there. It's not that. Like, I think that Walmart should be a huge company, but Walmart should be a company that is a market setup, essentially. Like, instead of you going to a farmer's market out in the fucking heat,
Right.
you go to Walmart and they sell your local stuff. It should be like Whole Foods. Whole Foods is the perfect grocery store. Like, if you go to Whole Foods, there's a few aisles in the middle that are processed foods, and all the processed foods there are they're on the healthier side. There's no bullshit there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're not going there to buy Oreos. I don't even know if they sell Oreos in Whole Foods. But you get really, really high quality food there, and that's all it is local stuff. From my understanding, it's like local stuff. But it's also an Amazon owned company. I did just learn that. I didn't realize.
What's Amazon owned?
Whole Foods.
Really?
Yeah. So apparently Amazon owns Whole Foods, and that makes sense because Whole Foods, like if you go to return something to Amazon, you can Whole Foods is always an option to take it back to, and it makes sense that they're like correlated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Well, see, I was gonna say Walmart should be a lot like Amazon, because all Amazon really is they bring everything that
They're
you would
just
usually
third party.
search for, and bring it
Exactly.
together. It's like
Exactly.
like I said, a market.
Right.
I think the biggest issue is whenever you try and grow, so like oranges, they grow really good in Florida, but they ship those oranges all over the country.
Exactly.
Not everywhere is set up to grow certain things. You know, certain things grow best naturally in certain places, so you don't have to use as many pesticides. You
Right.
don't have to use as much synthetic fertilizer. It just grows good because that's where it was meant to grow.
Right.
Problem comes in is, well, now you got to figure out how to get something
Oranges
like, say,
up there.
yeah, say orange. I don't know what the shelf life is on it, but say it's only 2-3 weeks, and from the time you pick it to the time you ship it, well, now you got to figure out, okay, it's got to come from Florida. We got to bag it all up in loads big enough to ship it to wherever, and now it's on that truck for a week. And they're not exactly the best conditions, depending on how you're shipping it, what company you got shipping it. Sometimes those things get left in the sun in the parking lot, but now you got to ship those. It goes there. Now you got to wait on your department store to stock it. So now something that was really fresh 2 weeks ago has only got a week worth of shelf life if it sits on the shelf for more than a week. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like they got to add those preservatives and those types of things.
But that's.
Hold on one second. This dad
Yeah,
calling.
go ahead, go ahead. Oh, that smells so damn good. All right, so I'm gonna throw them on there. Cut that off. We're gonna set a.
Look what we doing, bro.
Oh wait, shit. Hold up. Minute and a half. What's that?
We up, baby.
What's that? Is that your portfolio?
Yeah.
No shit. Damn, that's doing really good, dude.
Coming on up, baby.
How long
Coming
you been
on
working on it?
up. Since November.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah,
It's pretty damn good.
it was way down. I should have waited a little bit, like right when Trump did them tariffs, and bought in then.
A lot of people that did that, boy.
Yeah, they made
ball
buku
out
bucks.
right now. Still got 60 seconds on that flip.
I love you. I'm
Love
just
you.
waiting for it to come up. Once it hits about 20,000-30,000, I'll probably cash out and get me another
Yeah.
truck or put down payment on the house or something.
I say down payment on a house would be a
Or
good.
maybe I
fucking move,
save
boy.
it and I'll wake up one day and XRP will hit like $1,000 a share.
XRP is something I need to get into.
Yeah, you do,
Everybody's
man.
been preaching
Everybody's
about XRP,
talking about
but
it. Well, they
That's
just
something
beat
I
that
haven't invested in a
that
while.
SEC case, or it's supposed to be going down, because from what I understand, I have a very limited baseline understanding, surface level understanding of it. But I think it was Gary Gensler or whoever was head of the SEC, and he had this big vendetta against the XRP thing. So they were tied up. It like went way up, and then they were like, okay, well, you can't use this because it's not regulated, this, that, and the third. So then they, it went way back down. I mean, it was at like 80 cents whenever I started buying into it, and then it jumped up to like $2.
Damn.
I started buying a shit ton of it when it was like 180, 187, and then it got up to $3, and I was like, well, I know it's gonna come back down if it had this huge spike, so I'm gonna sell it. It sold, and then went up the it went up to like 330, and I was like, well, damn, but it went up 330. Maybe it's not coming back down. Maybe I need to buy it all back. So when it went down to $3, I bought it back, and then it dropped back down to like $2. So like I made like $1,500, and then it went back down, and I lost like more than what I'm comfortable to. And I don't see it, but now I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna hold to it down, get up there to where I need it to be. But just know, if I get rich, I ain't gonna tell nobody, but there will be signs.
Yeah.
You see me, I'll have like a, a decent sized house. I have like a 2,500 square foot house and like a 3-story greenhouse in the back.
The house. That's how we're gonna know you're rich.
Yeah.
Just because you have a house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Rich people have houses. Rich people don't drive foreigns. Rich people have homes.
Yeah.
For you to have a mortgage now, you got to be a rich bitch.
I ain't lying.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts.
I was talking to somebody, they bought their house in like, I want to say it was like 1990s, but he's got like a stupid low interest rate. He's got like a 3% interest rate on his house. He said it was worth like 28 or 30,000 when he bought it. It's worth like 100, 105 now. And his payment's only like $400 or $500 a month. It's like uptown Florence.
That's crazy.
So I said, you got some damn good equity built up into it too.
I mean, a lot of people made out really, really well from that. Like, I mean, my parents, they made out pretty. They made out pretty good.
Yeah.
I think if they waited longer, they made out even better.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, man, they made out with a lot of money. But at the same time, like, you can't buy that shit back now.
Yeah.
Like, once you sell it, you can't buy it back. So.
Yeah, I think the only way I would want to sell my house is if I already found one that I liked better.
Yeah.
And that I could just like go from, because you're not going to sell your house, just go rent.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because you might as well just piss that money away. Coming your house is, that's your biggest investment. You know what I mean? That's the difference between you having somewhere that nobody can ever tell you that you got to leave, albeit as long as you pay your taxes.
Yeah, that's
another
the
thing.
tricky part about the house, man. Because at the end of the day, if you just don't pay that little bit of taxes, they can take you. I mean, over $400, they can take $20,000.
Yep.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah, you think that you own something, try not to pay taxes on it.
Yeah, and then
you'll
see that you're renting it. Yeah. You don't make that payment, buddy. Find a rent real quick. All right. Another minute and a half. I hope it doesn't cook too much.
So how do you cook those?
So
I know you got a process.
Yeah, I'm working on my process. Obviously, with the new cooker and everything, I got to kind of learn it.
Yeah.
What I'm doing here is I like to get any of my steaks. I like to get them above 400 before I sear them. You want to sear in a steak and lock in that fucking flavor and really like activate them seasonings that you put on it.
Right.
I like to sear mine above 400. Even when I'm cooking in a pan, I take my temperature gun and I wait till it gets above 400. I use bacon grease, as you know, instead of butter. I put butter on afterwards. If you don't want butter, I don't have to put butter. I'm sure you would like some butter.
I eat whatever.
Yeah. I'm gonna. I don't know if I want to lather them with butter. Actually, I think I want to just straight up taste the steak because that's how I ate my steaks yesterday. But if you want butter, that's more than.
That's 6 in one, half a dozen in the other.
Yeah. Okay. Tell you what, we can put butter on after we taste a piece without butter. Yeah. Like I got a butter dish and a spreader.
Yeah, so. You can always put it on, but you can't take it off.
Can't take it off. Yeah. I want to taste just the meat though. This is I'm excited about this. I'm really excited about this. But I get it up above 400. And what I'm doing right now, since this steak's not super thick, it depends on the thickness.
Yeah.
But I'm cooking these for, here, let me go ahead and grab one off. Let me see your cutting board. Thank you. And we'll let these rest for 5 minutes.
Rest?
Yep.
You can rest when I'm dead.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's my steak and I want it now.
All right, here's a butter dish.
And what cut of meat is this?
This is a grass-fed, grass-finished ribeye.
Ribeye.
Yes, sir.
How much pound?
How much? A pound, or how much did it weigh?
How much pound?
I think it was the grass-fed, grass-finished. I paid $15 for the steak, and it's a 10-ounce steak. So
Damn.
yeah.
That's high.
It's not that high. For a grass-fed, grass-finished, that's actually pretty cheap.
Really?
Grass-fed, grass-finished beef is running you like $19 to $30 a pound. Yeah, it's expensive, dude. For a ribeye, especially.
We need to figure out how to where and how to get a cow.
A quarter cow. Well, so there's a local farm. We can get a grass-fed, grass-finished. Let me open the lid on that so it can cool off.
Yeah.
So there's a local farm in Charleston called Chucktown Acres.
Yeah.
And they have one for like $1,300, and it's only 98 pounds, but it's grass-fed, grass-finished beef. It ends up being like $20 a pound. But I actually want to talk to him about coming on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I'll talk to him about like meat and stuff like that. I obviously would like to buy a lot of meat. I want to get a big deep freezer. Brandon wants to buy a bunch of meat.
Yeah.
You want to buy a bunch of meat. Steve always loves buying a bunch of meat.
Yeah.
And Steve also has a farmer that he was in contact with about meat and stuff like that and buying that.
Well, Steve needs to buy him a cow. Buy him a
But
baby
he
cow.
doesn't want to do all the work. He's got pigs and shit now. He's got pigs, chickens. He might do cows, but he's got horses. He's not gonna do cows.
Yeah.
He ain't gonna do cows and horses.
Why?
I fucking wouldn't.
There's a lot of work.
A lot of pasture, a lot of space.
Yeah.
Where you gonna put them? You
Yeah.
know, horses and cows take up so much fucking room. It would just be hard to house them. Did you want anything out of here?
No, I'm good. I want what's right here.
Yeah, I'm excited about
So,
this shit.
so good.
It smells so yummy. And if you need more salt and pepper, I have more salt and pepper. These were pre-seasoned, so this is a trial and error thing for me.
My mouth is literally watering. Hasn't been 5 minutes yet.
You can go ahead and cut it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, baby.
Well, yeah, that's pretty yummy. I was worried some of the seasoning would come off.
Nah, it stuck pretty good.
Good there.
And that's
Yeah,
just salt, pepper, and garlic.
Salt, pepper, and garlic, bro. Now, it was vacuum sealed overnight, and that makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Because, for one, when you marinate something, it's best to vacuum seal it. You're shoving everything in there. You know what I mean? It's getting into all the cracks and crevices. It's not
That's so
oxidizing at all. It's a way to wet age it. You got wet aged and dry aged meat. I'm still learning
Now,
about
what's
all
the
that
difference?
stuff,
Obviously, one of them you do wet and one of them you do dry, but what's like the key
but-
difference?
So
in
dry,
how
they
it affects
literally just like leave it out and it gets moldy, and then they cut the outside off. You eat the inside.
it? Now, how does that affect the taste of the meat?
I don't know because I haven't actually had it, but it's something that I would like to adventure into and figure out.
Because, I mean, that seems like a lot of extra work. Does it really change the flavor of the meat that much?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot
It changes
of
the way
it's
it affects
wasted.
you. Yes, yeah.
And it changes the what?
That's why it's so expensive, is because so much meat gets wasted on the outside. But it changes the way it affects you, like energy-wise and stuff like that. I don't know exactly how. I just, from what I hear, dry-aged meat hits you different than wet-aged meat.
Oh,
This shit is so good. When you get the more pink meat, you can kind of taste what I'm talking about, of that like notes of veggies that they were eating. You know what I mean? Versus eating grains. Most beef that you get is grain-fed. This one, grass-fed and grass-finished, you can really, really taste that. You can taste what it was eating, you know, which is so fucking cool. I definitely can, because I'm just all I fucking eat.
yeah.
But
If all you drank was wine, you better be able to taste the...
what's special about it? Damn, that's good. No, a lot of people prefer grain finished for the flavor. And I will say, I do think grain finished probably over time is a more like desirable flavor. But to me, this tastes better because I know it's healthy for me. I know it's healthier for me. So like, it's not really. Over time, I think I'm probably going to lean more towards the grain-fed for flavor. That's what I have a feeling of, but we'll see.
So why do you think that the that the grain finished, or why? What's the difference in the one that's grass-fed versus the one that's grain-fed?
Well, they're just eating different food is all. They're eating.
So they're getting like a different nutrient profile.
Yeah. I mean, cows were originally supposed, like, in nature, they just eat grass. They're not supposed to eat corn and wheat and all that, whatever the hell they're feeding them.
So it's just cheaper to have them eat grain?
Yeah. Not only cheaper, gets them fat quicker.
Yeah.
Swells them up. It's an easy way to drug them with shit, hormones and all that. The grains aren't exactly great. Better for them just to eat grass that grows out the ground.
Right.
That they shit on, that fertilizes itself. So, it's not as profitable though.
Yeah.
It's back to monopolies.
Goes full circle.
And then that affects you health-wise because you don't get the same nutrients from those steaks as this. You just don't. You don't get the same energy. And being on a carnivore diet, I've got to really see that because different meats make me feel different. Like I said, when I eat a steak, that these juices, that fat, when it hits my mouth, I'm just like, feels like I just drank a bang. You know, it's exhilarating. But it's how I get my energy. So I can like literally feel it hitting me. It's fucking awesome. Keep saying a lot.
Now, are you still doing the liver, the ground up liver in your hamburgers?
I haven't had liver in a while. A lot of the OG like carnivore people that I've been following, they actually say none of them eat liver. Joe doesn't eat liver either. Everybody just eats red meat, like fatty red meat. You want brisket or ribeye. You know, ribeye supposedly has like just as much fat as it does protein. And that 1-to-1 ratio is what you're after as far as fat to protein content, because I'm not looking for calories. I'm not looking for protein. I am looking for calories because that's literally energy, you know, but I'm not trying to stay under. I'm trying to get as many calories as I can in a day. I'll eat as much steak as I possibly can, and that's how I get my energy. But I'm not limiting how much I eat. I need to eat as much as I possibly can every single day.
Well, whenever you're eating a carnivore diet, you can eat just about as much as you can within reason.
You stop eating is the difference. Because carbohydrates, man.
Well, it's a lot more satiating. You know, you got the different hormones, and I'm not a nutritionist or a neuroscientist, but from my understanding, you got like ghrelin and different things like that tell you whenever you've eaten enough. And then you got like the stretch receptors in your stomach that tell you when your stomach is full. So whenever you eat like meat and stuff and fat, it releases more ghrelin versus when you eat a bunch of sugar and carbs, it's just releasing insulin. So you can eat, that's why you can eat a whole bag of Oreos or a whole bag of potato chips and it doesn't give you that same satiation.
Right. It doesn't satisfy the need to eat, and that's why you want more.
And they know that, so that's why
they made it that way.
Do it, exactly. So that you'll eat more and then buy more. And it's just a cycle of making more money.
What was I going to say? This shit is so good. I don't remember where I was going to go with it. Shit. I had to stall.
Well, I do have a
hard left turn, lean to.
I had another question for you. As far as you're how long on carnivore now?
I'm probably 100 days now. I was right around the 90 days a few days ago. So,
I mean, you definitely look leaner, look healthier. You tell me that you feel healthier and stuff. You really need to go and get some blood work done.
Yes.
And and I'm not trying, I know we're eating, but like get you a stool sample done to see what the gut microbiome is telling you. Because, you know, I was saying, and I know we were talking about there's a balance of good and bad bacteria in your stomach. And there was a guy I was listening to on YouTube a while back, and he was talking about how a lot of physical ailments and stuff that we have these days is caused by an imbalance in certain bacteria. He said, if you give me a stool sample, I can tell you what kind of issues that you're having based on the bacteria levels, because as they eat and break down things in your stomach, they release certain hormones, certain chemicals that now impact your body in this way.
You every single way that
So,
you don't expect it to.
I'm wondering how your gut microbiome would compare to somebody who's eating the standard, you know, American diet, and how that is affecting you. And then, you know, maybe go 3 months and do that, you know, AG1 or some other kind of, you know, something that you're getting all of your nutritional requirements. Because I think that's one of the biggest things that scares me, is that you're not getting a whole balanced diet. And I know the whole food pyramid is not right as long as you're getting your macros and your vitamins and your minerals and stuff. It's like with plants, and I kind of always take everything back to plants. That's because I love them.
You deal with them quite a good bit.
If you don't have if you have a whole bunch of nitrogen in it, you're going to grow a bunch of leaves. But if you don't have enough phosphorus in it, then it's not going to have good roots and it's not going to bloom good for you. So how in that way, you know, you're getting a shit ton of meat. So, you know, you are real lean and stuff like that. But how is it affecting your body in other ways? You know, are your blood vessels getting the things that they need to repair themselves whenever? So like when you're working out and stuff, you know, you're tearing down the muscle fibers. And I mean, like I said, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a physician, so I don't know. But
me neither.
If you're tearing stuff, and obviously whenever you work out, your veins and stuff get bigger, so I'm sure that there's some kind of mechanism where you're breaking down the fibers and your blood vessels, allowing them to grow back bigger like your muscles. But are you still getting the vitamins and the minerals and the different things that your body needs with the limitations on your diet that is allowing you to grow at an optimal rate?
Right. Am I actually getting the proper nutrition that a human needs to grow healthily?
Right. Because, I mean, we're omnivores. We were built to eat certain things. Now, I don't know exactly how we were supposed to eat. I voiced my opinion to you that I think that the biggest benefit I think comes from it is you're eliminating a lot of the processed
bullshit,
foods.
Right. That's the biggest thing, man.
And cutting all that stuff out, you're helping repair your microbiome, because all that bad bacteria feeds on all that processed sugar and all that stuff. So whenever you're eating just straight whole foods, it allows you that. And you're a lot of the good bacteria in your stomach, they feed off of fiber. That's why fiber is supposed to be so good for you. That, and it helps clean out your colon and different things like that, keeps you nice and regulated. But like you were telling me, of course, when you first get on the carnivore, you have a lot of stomach issues because your body's not used to processing things that way. It's like the difference between you going from a regular diet to a keto diet. They say it's like, you know, you're burning straight coal and something, and then you switch to a wood fire.
Right.
You know, it's just you're changing the furnace that you're burning, the fuel that you're burning.
I compare it as changing from gas to diesel. You change from gas to diesel. And in doing that, a lot of work. To change your vehicle from gas to diesel takes a lot of work. It takes some adjustments. When you do it, you got a lot of tuning and fine tuning you're going to have to do. And that's pretty much what I'm going through right now. So back to the gut microbiome thing and how it's kind of affecting me. I heard Sean Baker talk about this the other day, and I don't know if it was on the podcast with him and Michaela Peterson or if it was just...
That's Jordan Peterson's daughter?
Yeah. They're like OGs when it comes to the carnivore diet.
Right.
Sean Baker's the one who wrote the book Carnivore Diet. Like literally wrote the book. He is a doctor. He's a physician. He does. He used to be a surgeon, orthopedic surgeon. He was an orthopedic surgeon and.
That's a foot doctor.
Foot surgeon.
Foot surgeon.
Yeah. But he used to be an orthopedic surgeon, and instead of performing surgeries, he was getting people on keto and carnivore diets, and he was solving their problems instead of giving them surgery. So he got fired.
Oh man.
because he wasn't making the hospital any money.
Well, see, that's the thing is you don't realize that your body is built to repair itself when you give it the proper nutrition, when you give it the proper things. A lot of things that we eat these days, it causes too much inflammation. I know it's fucking delicious.
This is
isn't it?
yummy, dude.
But
everything causes inflammation.
yeah. Well,
not everything, but
a lot of the food
because
that
of
we
the sugar
eat,
and the bullshit and the additives, man.
A lot of that stuff, man, when you eat it, it causes that inflammation. That's where your arthritis and stuff comes from. Inflammation of I don't want to say blood vessels, but the way that your blood vessels either constrict or dilate changes. Either you got high blood pressure or you got low blood pressure.
Right.
That
literally dilates to adjust your blood pressure.
Another thing I would like to know is what is the state of plaque buildup inside of your veins and stuff, because obviously, like, you're a younger man, so you don't have that many issues with it now, but like say somebody who's on a 50s 60s kind of deal, they already have issues with plaque buildup. They're going to the doctor, they're taking blood pressure medications and stuff like that. When you get 10 years down the road on carnivore, what's the mechanism for clearing that stuff out? Is it that the processed foods are causing more of the buildup?
You get plaque in your blood?
Plaque in your blood vessels. So the plaque is built up.
When I think plaque, I think your teeth.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing. So like, if you have too much plaque in a blood vessel in your heart, that's when they have to go in. They have to like put a stent in. They have to literally open up your blood vessels. I think, like I said, I'm not a doctor, but
we can pretend we are. Dr. Dusten.
Dr. Skinner, I can't tell you how many people, because it's Dusten Ryan.
Yeah.
So my email address is Dr. Skinner.
Right.
So but I do like because you have to
it.
do uppercase and a lowercase, and I always put a capital D, R, and then Skinner.
It's literally laid out like Dr. Skinner.
Yeah. So people are always like, "Are you a doctor?" I'm like, "Obviously not." Yeah, I'm Dr. Feelgood.
Bend over and cough.
I hope I'm not the only one that can't put on a pair of gloves without saying that.
Yeah. Every time I think about it, I'm just like, So, the microbiome thing. With Sean Baker, what I heard him talking about with, I think, Michaela the other day, was basically how he put it was, and I never thought of this until he said it, and then I actually got to experience it because coincidentally, I've cut dairy and other various things that I've kept in my carnivore diet that I've kept it kind of dirty. I'm pretty damn clean now with my carnivore diet. So I've actually got to see that when you just eat meat, it never reaches your stomach. So the way he put it was, he said, a lot of people think that your epidermis, your skin, is the largest contact you have with the outside world, but it's not. The biggest amount of surface, like the largest interaction you have with the outside world is your gut, your intestines, because if you actually fillet the gut open and you lay everything out, because every square inch of what's inside those intestines is absorbing stuff as it's in there. So all that surface area, they said it's like a football field or some shit like that. It's a lot. Yeah, it's crazy. So it's actually the biggest interaction that you have with the outside world because things come into your gut.
Right.
So I was like, damn, that's a crazy way to think about it. And when you think about that much surface area, like, damn, that's actually a long ways for it to go. Drag your ass across the football field one time, like across the ground. That's a long ways. But
okay, well, tell me something, because forgive my ignorance, but I thought that when you eat something, it goes to your stomach, and then after your stomach, it goes through your intestines.
I thought so too.
So
I thought it goes to your intestines and then goes to your stomach.
That's what it sounds like. That's what sounds like what you're describing. Whereas I thought it goes to your stomach.
We can look it up. Yeah. Let's look it up real quick.
Ask Grok.
Oh yeah. Facts. You got Grok?
Yes.
You do? Ask Grok real quick. Because from what I understand, the way he put it was it never actually makes it to your stomach.
Grok, when you eat, where does food go? Does it go straight to your stomach, or does it go through your intestines and then get to your stomach? That's it. Come on.
Damn, that was so good. I wish it was a 20-ounce steak.
So yeah, it says food is chewed and mixed with saliva in the mouth to begin digestion. Food swallowed travels down the esophagus to the tube into your stomach. Then it hits your stomach. Food is mixed with acids and enzymes, breaking it down to a liquid. And then the food moves here where nutrients are absorbed. So I guess what you're saying does make sense because it hits your stomach. Your stomach breaks it all down, and then it turns into a liquid pretty much. So it's like without the mechanical
So maybe I'm
blending it.
thinking it backwards. Maybe it hits your stomach
And then
it never
goes through
hits your intestines, though.
Right. And never gets to like your colon and stuff like that. So that's why you're not.
Well, he said it never gets to the area where everybody's worried about the gut microbiome. Where the gut microbiome is happening, everybody's
that's
worried about it.
In your colon, I think.
Well, wherever that is
Yeah.
where he's saying it doesn't reach there because, so basically, fructose and stuff like that, you can't process fructose. Your body was not made to process fructose.
Right.
It still has to go through you. It's got to go somewhere. So it's going to go out the ass end,
Right.
you know? If your body doesn't want to process something, it's just going to shoot it out the back. So the way I look at it is, if your body senses it's got something it can't process, it's not going to waste its time processing it. So it's going to send it to your gut. And the way that he put it was, everybody who's eaten the normal carbohydrate standard American diet just has a bunch of sugars and carbohydrates and stuff. You have this balance of fermenting you're basically making alcohol in your gut constantly. Right. And you're finding this balance, just like you said, of if your microbiome is off, it fucks you completely up, which is crazy because it shouldn't. Like, when you think about, you should just eat. The only reason it should make you sick is because it's bad. Right. And even then, your immune system should be so badass that if you eat something that's a little rotten or a little past, you should be able to eat it, because we were scavengers way back in the day. And we would eat after lions. Lions would kill something to eat, and we would come back hours later. So our guts were made to like handle some tough fucking bacteria.
Right. And we used to eat meat raw.
Yeah, exactly. Like, the more and more I go on this diet, and everybody that's like OG on diet, Joe said the same thing to me. He's like, you like your steaks more rare now, don't you? I was like, dude, absolutely. I used to not want it like blue, but I want that bitch squirming. Like, I want it just...
I want to move a little bit when you
I just want you to cook the seasonings on the outside, and that's it. Everything else can be just like it is. Yeah. There's some things that are better well done. Like making a brisket, you want to, like I said, get it up to 200 and stuff like that. You're overcooking it on purpose. That's how you do barbecue, because it's a tough piece of meat. So that's how you tenderize it. But with this, if you cook it to medium rare, you lose so much flavor. Yeah. Or you lose a different kind of flavor. You actually, to me, it draws the seasoning flavor into the meat more the more you cook it. But I don't want that out there. I want it on the outside, and then I want that raw meat flavor on the inside. It's almost like eating ice cream that's got a coating on the outside of it. Yeah. You don't want that coating on the inside, because then that's just that ice cream. You want the coating on the outside. You want it to accent. You want it to like same way
to highlight it versus be the whole.
And that's how I look at like the sear on my steak. I just want it seared, and the rest I want to taste the meat.
You want to taste the cherry on top. You don't want to eat nothing but cherries.
And it's gotten more and more like that progressively, and I feel like my immune system is probably doing the same thing. Like, because I mean, they tell you all the time, you need to cook your meat to at least 160 degrees, at least 150 degrees. That bitch like 135, 140. Get out of here. Like, and I do it every day. I like it 140. If I'm cooking them for Michelle, I like to get it a little bit more cooked. But if you cook it to 135, 140, and you pull it off, depending on the thickness of it, you let it rest for 5 minutes. It finishes cooking. So you can get a 10-degree hike on that, where it'll grow 10 degrees.
Have you had any food poisoning since you started Carnivore and started cooking like that?
Not that I know of. Like there was that time I got sick when I ate the multivitamin and drank the coffee. I can't recall getting any food poisoning.
Right.
The only things that I have gotten are keto flu. I've gotten keto flu. If I eat something that fucks with my stomach, it just puts me down. That's what fucks me up, is eating the bullshit.
Right.
I haven't gotten sick. I got a dog bite and everything else, and I haven't gotten sick, no infections.
I would imagine that would help keep your immune system kind of working a little bit harder. You know what I mean? So like
the diet or the dog bite?
The
diet? Yeah, I would think so too. Because you're eating something that has a lot of bacteria in it, but you're also eating the same kinds of bacteria over and over again.
So you're building up a tolerance.
Yeah, I'm not putting all kinds of different bullshit through. There's no way we have the most adaptive thing on the planet. We are the most adaptive things on the planet.
Right.
We just are. Like that's just how it, in my opinion. So like it'll adapt to whatever you shove in it, even the garbage that we've been shoving in it, carbohydrates.
It doesn't make it good for you.
No,
it doesn't
exactly.
mean you're running optimally.
No, but it's a drug that makes you feel good and you can live off of it. If everybody could just live off of meth, what the fuck would be going on out here? You know what I'm saying? Shit would be getting done real fast. So it's essentially a drug that you can live off of, and it's not as efficient. Think about it, the efficiency. I had an argument. Well, it's not an argument, but I had a discussion with this guy on the comments of my TikTok page.
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh yeah, you need energy because you don't get enough ATP from fat." And I was like, "Dude, no, yeah, you do." When you think about the efficiency of everything, right?
Well, that's the same argument that guy Will Hung was talking about. Is how were your energy levels with intense exercise? Because he said your body doesn't have enough ATP, yada yada yada. And he's right. You struggle in the beginning with energy levels, and that's why I'm doing my push-up thing. Is you have to push through it. It's just like when you first start working out. It's the same thing. Like when you first start going to the gym, you can't just go in there and fucking knock 10 reps out. You got to do 2 reps this time and then 2 reps the next. Like you just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm doing. I wonder if there are any like long distance runners or just some kind of endurance
high
sport
performance athletes
that is on carnivore, 100% carnivore.
Yes.
That's not taking like the glucose tablets and stuff like that.
I don't have any stories, and I should gather some up for discussions like this. But Sean Baker has worked, like he works with people and helps them with carnivore and stuff, and he's like 250 pounds for one. He's 57 years old, and I believe he's like ranked #1 in jiu-jitsu in America right now.
Are you sure?
It's something
what
like
about,
that.
Ryan Gordon.
Well, I don't know their weight class, or you know what I'm saying. Like, I don't know that. I just know when he was talking to Michaela Peterson, she was like, he said, "Well, I ranked #1 last week, so I got to be doing something right." And I know he's big into jiu-jitsu. He's always been a high-performing athlete.
Right.
And he said, there was a podcast that he went on. There is another guy who is on a standard American diet, big on fitness, very fit guy. I can't remember what his name was, but Brandon follows him. And I was like, yeah, he went on the podcast with this guy, and they worked out. He's like, that guy? I follow that guy. I was like, well, he went on the podcast with that guy, and they just said they worked out before the podcast for an hour before the podcast, because that's what they do, like Rogan does. They work out before the podcast. He said, we worked out for an hour before the podcast, and you didn't even break a sweat. The amount of stamina, and what he said to that, what Sean Baker said to that was like along the lines of, everyone that I work with that's a performing athlete, once you get through that 4 to 6 month phase of just kind of like pushing, once you get through that, there is no getting tired. There's no getting tired at all. You do whatever the fuck you want to. As long as you're eating enough meat, you just got energy. You just go. But your body has to adapt to that. Yeah. You have to put it through the conditioning. It's no different than football conditioning. You know what I mean? If you are in construction, if you are in a high demanding job, it's going to be harder for you to make that transition and have the energy that you need. A lot of people aren't getting the proper amount of fat. They're like, it's too expensive to do this. It's too expensive to do that. Listen, if you want to make the change to carnivore, brisket. Brisket's so fucking cheap. you can get like 20 pounds of brisket for $80. That's a lot of meat, dude.
Yeah, that'd keep you full for a while.
Yes, and like not for nothing, this is not about being. This is not. We're not eating Oreos. You know what I'm saying? This is not about. It is about pleasure. You know what I mean? Like how much enjoyment do we just get out of this steak? You know what I mean? So it is about pleasure, but we're not eating for fun here either. You know what I mean? Like, I need nutrients. I'm fucking hungry. So at the end of the day, what you put in your body is important.
We're not eating because it tastes good. We're eating because of the results we're dieting because of the way that the results from dieting's going.
Yeah, exactly.
Us.
We're not worried about the fun shit, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what you have to, pacifier sucking pussies. And that's what you have to look at with the diet is like, when you start out the diet, I think, first off, I think that there's like a baby carnivore phase. I think that everybody should start out with their dairies. You need to be drinking milk every day. I'd say a quarter to a half a gallon, depending on your energy use. If you're somebody who works at a gas station and you're not doing a whole lot, there's no reason for you to be.
You don't need as much.
Yeah. I mean, you don't need as much. This should be an easy transition for you. As long as you're getting your electrolytes, eating salt on everything, as long as you're eating plenty of fat, getting plenty of electrolytes, that first 3-4 months is where you're really trying to find that balance of electrolytes. I'm still struggling to find it because I was such a dirty carnivore in the beginning. I really feel like I just kind of started my carnivore journey because I've cleaned up the way I have.
Right.
And there's people who eat cleaner than I do. So they just do salt and red meat. But I like coffee. I like garlic powder. I like pepper. I'm trying to keep those in my diet. I'm trying to keep the enjoyment like we talked about. But I think that for the people that are starting out, if they keep dairy, it keeps you engaged in the diet. You know what I mean? But
well, I think 2 really important points I want to make before I lose the thought is that, you know, one of the best diets that you can do is whatever diet that you can stick to and you can be consistent.
Sustain.
It's not about intensity, it's about consistency.
Right.
You know, if you make a 1 degree change over 180 days, you have now completely flipped the direction that you're going.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, it's just small incremental changes. You know, for a lot of people, changing so abruptly like that is going to be such a shock to their system that it's like going to the gym. You know, a lot of people for New Year's, they go to the gym, they're saying, oh, I'm going to work out for an hour, 2 hours a day. Exactly. And then, you know, a month, 2 months in, they're like, well, I can't do this no more. Right. It's not about that. A lot of it's just about showing up. It's about being conscious about what you're doing, being intentional in what you're doing, and being consistent with it. You know, and everybody kind of stumbles. You know, say, you know, you are 100% carnivore for a month and then you have a birthday party and you eat a slice of cake.
Right.
No, that's not conducive to your diet, but don't, go off the deep end and say, nah, I'm eating donuts.
It doesn't mean
day.
you've
exactly
stopped. Right.
Still enjoy the things that you want to enjoy, but it's like Miss Brown at high school used to say, eating too much of anything can be a bad thing.
Absolutely.
But don't
Except
let
meat.
Yeah. Eat as much meat as you want. But yeah, just be consistent rather than intense. And like you were saying, if a lot of people go through that kind of keto flu, or they go through where their body doesn't agree with the carnivore diet, just kind of push past it. You know what I mean? There is no, if it's not hard, then it's not worth it.
Yep.
You know, I think it was Bob Marley that said, if it comes easy, then it ain't good. And then if it's good, it's not going to come easy.
Yep, that's exactly right. Well, I think we covered quite a few good topics. We just hit an hour just now. We can probably close out with something. We can cover something else if you want to. I will say, basically what I'm getting at is it's not easy in the beginning, and it's best to hold on to dairy, I think. Get plenty of salt and electrolytes, and just push through that first 4 to 6 months, just like you would have to if you were switching back to a carbohydrate diet.
Right.
You know, but nobody's ever had to do that because we started out with carbohydrates. You started out as a kid getting fed bullshit. Just try it and see how it feels. Oh, I did want to go back to the efficiency thing. Okay. So my thing is energy, right? So when you convert something, like when you convert carbohydrates to ATP, that takes energy, right?
Right.
And
breaking the molecular bonds or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're eating fat, right? When you store energy, so like you take in calories, no matter what, you take in calories. If you don't use the calories, no matter what calorie it is, protein, fat, however you got the calories, if you get calories and you don't use them, you store it as fat. So your body converts whatever to fat, right? That motion right there, if it's fat, it doesn't have to convert shit.
Yeah.
It's fat. It converts it to fat. It doesn't have to convert nothing. No energy used for conversion, right? But if it's carbohydrates, it has to be converted to fat to store it. And then when you go to use it, it has to be converted back to something else because you're not burning fats for fuel. I don't know what it has to be converted to, but if you're burning fat for fuel, it doesn't have to be converted to shit. It just goes in the fire.
Right.
There's no middleman that has to take it there. And then when you burn it, that's what you're used to burning. You're not burning something that your body's not supposed to be. You're not burning. That guy, again, he was like, your body burns carbs first. And I was like, because it's trash. Your body's going to burn whatever it doesn't want first. It wants the toxins out.
Well, that brings up another good point is whenever you fast, the biggest benefit that you have to fasting is I think it's called autophagy. But it's when your body breaks down the cells so it doesn't have anything to eat. So it's going to start eating its own
cells. And it's going to start with the fucking dead cells and the cancer cells. Yes.
So that's another thing. I mean, definitely carnivore
is an immune system.
Right.
It just is.
Well, we weren't meant to eat all day, every day with constant calories going in our face. We were meant to go through phases where, okay, well, we might not eat today because we ain't killed no mammals.
Exactly. You know, so I need to work harder, and my body will start breaking, like it'll slow down its metabolism. Like, hey, let's take it easy. Yeah. We ain't got no food for a week. You might want to sit down a little bit, you know.
But it breaks down all those cells, like your cells that are, because the older your cell gets, the more its DNA has an opportunity to mutate, and then, you know, mutated DNA turns into cancer.
Yes.
You know, so if you have, if you are doing a fast and you allow yourself to clean out all that trash, you know, it's better for you.
Your body will just start burning all the trash first.
Yeah.
Just like you do when you clean your house, you start throwing away the trash first.
Yeah.
Burning things if you got a burn pile.
But like you were saying with, you know, if you're burning, you're changing the furnace that you're burning. You know, if you are, okay, I'm over here at point A and I'm taking all of the carbs to go and burn, and now I have to switch over to burning fat versus if I was just burning fat the whole time, what's going to be faster? Exactly. Having to convert from one fuel to the other versus if that's just what I'm burning.
And on that note too, I asked Rock about it the other day, just to explain calories to me, and
the calories carbs is 4 calories per gram. Protein is 4 calories per gram, and then fat is 9 calories.
9 calories per gram, and alcohol is 7, which is fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
It's crazy.
I would like to know the mechanism behind that.
I don't know how you burn 7 grams. Maybe it's just there. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
well, that's why a lot of people.
Oh well, wait. Like it gives you the calories, but you don't use them, so you store it as fat. That's where you get fat.
Yeah, that's where you get your beer gut from.
Huh. So technically, I could drink alcohol, and then if I don't use it for energy, it stores it as fat. I get fat from that too, and then I just burn that as fuel. So I cannot get fat, dude. I cannot get fat.
You can. Too much of anything is a bad thing.
That was another thing. You can gain weight on carnivore. I've gained weight on carnivore. Yeah. Milk is a big helper for that. But it's very fucking hard. If you get fat on carnivore, bro, you fucking up or you're cheating. You're lying. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look fat, you lying.
Well, I think that's a good segue into people that are trying to find a diet that they can lose weight on. So like we were saying earlier with the satiation aspect of things, whenever you're eating a higher protein diet, you're more satiated, so you don't have to eat as much. So you're going to eat less. When you're eating less, you're burning more calories. You're easier to be inside of a deficit and still feel like I'm not starving myself. Right. Because that's a big problem for a lot of people is they stop eating as much. They're trying to count their calories, but they're saying, well, damn, but I'm so hungry. And, now you're looking in the fridge for anything.
It's depressing, man. It's hard.
Exactly. But whenever you're eating mostly meat, you're satiated, so you don't have that craving as much, but you're still in a deficit. You're still losing weight.
Right.
That and you'll have to fact check me on this, but I heard from a guy on YouTube that whenever you're eating meat, like you were saying, your body has to convert something to be able to burn it. Your body has to convert protein. It has to break those molecular bonds. It's supposed to take more calories to
Yeah.
break down protein to be able to use it as fuel versus fat. Fat is it's easiest. It's like gasoline versus wood.
And nine calories per gram versus 4.
So
That's
if you're
crazy,
worried
dude.
about not getting enough calories and losing weight, then just eat a higher percentage of fat versus protein.
That's why I
But
say
if-
milk, especially in the beginning, because
Yeah.
it's hard to. You need the calorie. You need all of it. You also need potassium. Milk is high in potassium.
I did not know that.
I didn't know it either until I looked at the thing, and I was like, "That's actually. It's not like super high,
Right.
but when you're drinking a half a gallon of milk, you will get, I would say, 15% of your potassium." And I'm just spitballing numbers here. So, but I know that when I did the math on, damn, I just drank a half a gallon of milk, I actually got like 1,800 milligrams of potassium,
Well,
which
what-
is quite a good bit compared to my daily value. It's hard to get
Well, like
potassium.
we were talking about before, a lot of people don't know that you are supposed to get, I think it's either 37 or 4,700 milligrams of potassium a day.
That's crazy.
Because the way that your body produces energy, you got your cell, and then you have to use potassium and salt or electrical lights to electrical
lights. You sound a real
Electrolytes.
redneck when you sound electrical lights. Where are you filming that, boy?
But to be
Florence.
able to process the energy to take things from the outside, which is your bloodstream, and bring those inside, you have to use those two molecules or chemicals
To be able to get through the cell wall, or to be able to.
So if you don't have enough potassium, then your cells aren't going to have enough of it, like that lock and key model. If you don't have enough,
It's like having a big music festival and ain't nobody got them damn buggies to carry nobody around, and everybody's walking.
Exactly.
Everybody's walking.
It slows down your body's ability to make energy.
Right.
So, make sure that if you're on a carnivore diet, you're getting enough electrolytes and you're getting enough potassium to be able to sustain yourself.
Yeah.
That, and like you were saying, when you first start out, don't let it deter you from trying to do it.
Right.
You're going to go through a learning curve just like if you were doing anything. You got to give your body the opportunity to start burning and to start operating in a different manner.
And you got to listen to it too. That's one of the biggest things too that I've noticed is like I started getting more in tune with my body and paying attention to what your body says you need. And it's hard, like just knowing what it's saying is the hardest part. Like, well, I feel like shit. I don't know what do I need? Like, I know I need something. I don't feel like shit because
for no reason.
Yeah, for no reason. There's always a reason, and most times it's because you put shit in.
Yeah.
Like I have this timer. If I eat a steak within the next 6 hours, I'm gonna know if it was that steak or if it was this. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously if I eat 2 steaks back to back, then that's a little different. But you get what I'm saying. Like you're just in tune with your body enough to where you can go, I need this, man. I really feel like I need some magnesium. And to tell the difference between sodium, magnesium, and potassium, really, really, like, I feel like over time you'll probably be able to tell. Like potassium, if you're low on potassium, you're going to cramp more. But you could also be low on magnesium, and you could also be low on sodium. So as far as finding an electrolyte balance, it's still difficult. Just make sure you're getting some.
Right.
Because, dude, I wasn't getting 3,700 milligrams of fucking potassium before. I felt like shit before.
Right.
But when your body is full of inflammation and you got these carbohydrates that you're just full of water, you're just suffering through it. You're just suffering through it, man. It's you don't realize how painful it is until it's gone.
Right.
Just my back, like the back pains that I've dealt with and stuff. Cutting out the dairy, my back pains have not gone away, but subsided like substantially. And when I do crack my back, they say don't do self-adjustments and stuff like that. When I crack my back now, it like, it aligns. I can run my hand down my back and I go, wow, dog, that's nuts. And I mean, I'm sure it's not perfect, but I can run my hand down my back usually and I can feel it going, shoo. But I can crack my back now, and not only does it feel different, it doesn't feel like, I can feel my bones. It's crazy. It doesn't feel like there's any, like it feels like there's less padding there when the bones wiggle and move. It's
I think that's another really good benefit to really any diet, but especially just in you have been a lot more interoceptive You know what I mean? You're paying attention a lot more to how things affect your body.
Yes.
A lot of people, they run kind of on autopilot, and I'm guilty of the same thing.
You don't even know that it did it to you.
Right.
It catches you blindsided.
But whenever you're on a diet and you're trying to say, okay, well, I feel like this after I eat that, and it's a lot harder for people to...
Electrolytes.
It's a lot harder for any scientific experiment, and that's all that this really is you're trying to find what works best for you.
Dude,
but whenever you have so many...
science. It's peer review science. I'm posting the shit, and people are looking at it, and they tell me what they think, and... Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. But that's why whenever you cut out so much of that bullshit, pour me a little bit. Whenever you cut out all of that bullshit, you are limiting the amount of factors. And the best way for a scientific experiment to be successful is to have a limited number of factors, and then you only change one variable at a time.
Exactly.
And then you can really narrow down, like, okay, I'm eating nothing but steak, and now I threw in a little bit of milk, and now I either feel better or I feel worse. You know, if I feel worse, dial back on the milk, and now I'm eating nothing but steak.
I gotta think about your jacket hitting your microphone.
I'm eating nothing but steak. Well, we'll find out how that damn works.
Yeah, we'll see.
But if you're eating nothing but steak, and then you add something in, and it makes you feel worse, then take that back, and now you realize, okay, well, this works better for my body than X, Y, and Z. And, you know, certain things, you know, so like you may be good eating a shit ton of bacon and a little bit of steak, whereas somebody would want to eat more steak than they would bacon.
Right.
You know, everybody's different, but it's about being intentional and being conscious, being introspective of what's going on in your body, and figuring out, okay, I do better on this than I do that. So I'm gonna try this, and just keep on experimenting. That's what life's about. Life is all about learning what works best for you, and then trying to either impart that wisdom on somebody else. Don't be pushy about it and say, you need to do this because it worked for me, but hey, you should try this, and if it works for you, then great. If it doesn't, then maybe something along those lines will work better. But you know, everybody just needs to kind of be their own little science experiment.
Yeah, exactly. And open-minded about it too. That's the hard part, man. Is because usually if you can catch somebody when they are receptive to something like that, when they're looking, like when somebody's looking, man, I've been feeling like shit lately, and I don't know why. I wish if I could fucking pay somebody $1,000 right now just to tell me why I feel like shit, just to know why I feel like shit.
It's called a doctor.
Yeah. Well, not always, bro. But that's the problem too. Is not always. You go to the doctor and they give you a fucking prescription.
Yeah.
Or they don't even talk to you about diet. They don't ask you what you ate.
Yeah.
How often you go to the doctor and say, what do you eat? Well, what'd you do?
Exactly.
What'd you do?
Not a whole lot of hospitals and a whole lot of doctors that are saying, hey, you know, what are you eating? How much are you exercising? How much sunlight are you getting? You know, are you getting things that you need to for your body? Because your body, like we were talking about earlier, it is the most adaptable thing on planet Earth. It is the self-sustaining. Of course, you need outside input to be able to give it what it needs to run correctly, but if you're not questioning, a lot of times a doctor, and not all doctors, there are some of them that are better than others, but a vast majority of our medical system is focused on, it's not bad manners, it's good food.
Yeah, that's right.
They're focused on managing symptoms rather than they are getting to the root of the problem. Now, sometimes, you know, certain people, they need medicine. You know what I mean? Regardless, either you let something go for too long or, you know, that's just the way that it is. Those are the cards that you were dealt. But there is a lot of problems that people have that would be better solved if they were just to change their diet or change their exercise, how much exercise they're getting, or change how much sunlight they're getting. Like I think I preached to you about how important it is to get sunlight in the morning time and then sunlight in the afternoon, because the way that it affects your melatonin. So if you wake up in the morning and get 10 minutes of sunlight, thank you, Andrew Huberman, for that little tidbit of information.
Exactly what I started thinking about.
It helps you wake up. It helps you get, because of the way that it affects your hormones. Because it's the way that our ancestors were brought up, how they learned. They slept outside.
You can't unbake that out of our DNA.
Exactly. Yeah. And while we do adapt to the way that we live now, it doesn't mean that it's the most optimal for us.
Right.
That's why a lot of people like Okay, well, I don't sleep too good at night. Well, why don't you sleep good at night? Because you got a phone in front of your face for the last 2-3 hours,
Yeah.
and you got all that blue light that's
Dopamine.
not allowing your melatonin and the dynamics of your body, the mechanical aspects of your body to do what they were designed to do.
Right.
You're blocking that. A lot of people don't know that. I was listening to somebody on YouTube talk about it. They said, okay, well, your plants have to have, I take everything back to plants, I'm sorry.
No,
your
you're good.
plants have to have a period of darkness. That's like with your seedlings, I used to keep the lights on 24 hours.
Otherwise, they think it's constantly daytime,
Right.
and they'll never go
They'll
to
never
sleep.
go to sleep.
Yep.
And they need that kind of sleep because it helps to regulate. Even plants have hormones. Of course, they're different than humans, but they need to know, okay, it's dark outside, so I need to go to sleep. And then that allows those hormones to balance out. It's also how you force something to bloom.
Yep.
There's a bird over there eating my fucking blueberries. I knew that they was getting at my blueberries, but whatever. I grow enough of them, they can have some.
That's fucking good. He just got off on you.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's all right.
But-
Always grow more than what you need.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, if you change when the sun goes up and down, it thinks it's a different season.
Right, right.
Because it's baked into its DNA
Exactly.
to make that change. There's certain things you just can't get away from in a way.
There's somebody, they were saying, okay, well, I'm having this issue with my vegetable garden, but they have a street light that hangs right over their backyard. So that was the reason why they're having that issue. They covered it up with like a shade cloth at night, or put like something that wasn't allowing any light to get through it. Started growing a lot better. I can't remember exactly the issue that they were having, but whatever it was, that was one of the things that fixed it. You don't realize, even though it's not the full sun, even though it's not, it seems so minute, but it's like the butterfly effect. You know what I mean? Things ripple, things that are very nuanced and very minimal on the surface level can have a big impact. And especially like we were talking about consistency over intensity, you don't realize that, not getting enough sleep all the way through this week, okay, well, I looked at my phone for an extra hour before I went to bed, so I didn't sleep that good tonight. But I did that for a week straight, and now I feel like shit. Well, it's because you had a week of not enough sleep.
More exposure. It's fucking you up more than just,
It builds up.
It snowballs.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Snowball effect, butterfly effect, a whole bunch of effects.
Yeah.
But,
stacks up pretty quick.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't gonna drag it out too much longer. We still got to run another one here next. But I definitely enjoyed it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was great. It was great. I feel like we asked a lot of questions.
Yeah.
We didn't bring a whole lot of answers.
That's why you got to come back on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I think it's just important.
And
number one, to ask questions. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But the most important part of life is asking questions and seeking out the answers, being intentional about finding the answers to the problems that you have. Because nobody's going to solve problems for you. Sometimes things work out, and that's God or the universe or whatever you prescribe to, but you have to be intentional. You have to be the conduit for things to work out. You have to be intentional and to be conscious of the problems that you're having.
Your will, you have to do something.
Well, the law of attraction, you attract whatever you're thinking about. So think about, never mind. Think about good things, man.
Think about good things, yeah. We can leave it at that. Well, as far as to close out, I'm trying to think of what name I want to pick, man. I don't know if I want Carnivore Cast or...
I like Carnivore Cut.
Carnivore's Cut?
Carnivore's Cut.
I think that's what I call it.
It's like Director's Cut, but Carnivore.
And it's about the meat. I'm a carnivore. I think that works. Yeah. Carnivore's Cut. Well, episode 1 of Carnivore's Cut is finally over.
Right.
I say finally over like it was so terrible.
Hold on, let's think it.
Yeah,
pinkies up.
Pinkies up.
Pinkies up.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryan.
All right. That was good.
Hell yeah. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I thought that I would.